Are we going to see a quarterback controversy in Athens this offseason? That's the question that I have for you today. I don't think so. I think Carson Beck should be and deserves to be Georgia's quarterback heading into the spring, and I think he will be the starter for the 2023 season. However, our friends at FanDuel have Brock Vandergriff with the highest odds to win the 2023 Heisman Trophy. So they obviously think that he is going to beat out Carson Beck at some point this year. Probably going to happen in the fall. But disagree, okay? Disagree. I have been a Carson Beck guy for a long, long time since I saw him in person. Halloween 2019 down in Jacksonville, threw for 4 touchdowns and a big win. I was sold on the kid. I think he has an incredibly talented arm. He's got an NFL arm. I have no problem saying that. And he's been patient. He's waited his time. He's learned under Todd Monk, and I think he's going to have a massive 2023 season. We believe that the Georgia staff loves the arm talent that he brings to the table, and they are excited about him. Who, he's going to be in his 4th year. I expect a big-time year for Carson Beck, but Brock Vandergriff was a five-star for a reason. I saw him play about 5 times in person his senior year at Prince Avenue, right down the street in Bogart, Georgia from Athens. And I've been high on him too. There's a reason he was the number 2 quarterback out of high school behind Caleb Williams. And I agreed. I thought he had big-time arm talent. He was mobile. I saw him run through defenders in high school. I saw him complete multiple just beautiful deep balls down the field for touchdowns. When I went to go see him, he was putting up 5-6 touchdowns a night. He was very, very good when I saw him as a senior and played better and better, leading his Prince Avenue team to the state championship. He put on a massive performance there as well, and he was injured. I think if I remember correctly, he had an ankle injury that he was dealing with, but he was throughout his senior year, but yeah, he lit it up. So has not really translated so far that we've seen at Georgia. He just hasn't taken over, and I guess has looked like that former 5-star in practice from what I'm hearing. So as talented as he is, I don't see him passing Carson Beck in the spring or in fall practice. I think Carson's the guy. So when I saw these numbers over at FanDuel, and we love FanDuel, I was thinking, do they know something we don't? Do they know that Brock Vandergriff, I don't believe, has completed a pass at Georgia in his first 2 years? I'm not sure he's attempted one. I know he has 7 rushing yards, but when he's in the game, they're in the point of the game where they have their 3rd-string quarterback, and they're just running the ball, getting the game over with. They're up by 50, 60 points to Sam Houston State, Vanderbilt, TCU, whoever, right? So we haven't seen anything from Brock Vandergriff other than the G-Day performance, and he can run. He brings a lot to the table. I still think he could be a very, very good college quarterback. I thought he might be a transfer portal guy, but he's going to give it a shot this spring. And I think if he doesn't win the job when the portal opens again in May, he might look somewhere else. At that point, Gunnar Stockton would be the backup. And we've been hearing a lot of really good things about Gunnar Stockton. He's someone else who we've seen play in person multiple times. Last time I saw him play senior year at Raven County, he threw for 6 touchdowns in that game, ran for another 50-yard touchdown. He will truck you. He's not big, but he's thick and he has a lot of muscle on him. He's 220 plus pounds, I believe. Not the tallest guy, but he's got a rocket arm and he's got playmaking ability. He's got that Johnny Manziel factor. That's what I've always said about him. He can take a busted play and turn it into something crazy. Big play down the field. He can elude multiple defenders in the backfield, then step up while looking downfield and throw, a 50-yard strike on a dime for a touchdown. He's got that gamer, kind of Stetson Bennett mentality where if something kind of goes wrong in the beginning of a play, he can be creative. And just make a play out of nothing. That's what he's able to do. Carson can move, and I think he's shown the ability here and there that he can run. I think he has, let's see, I got it right here. He's thrown for 310 passing yards last year, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had a really good year. But he also rushed for 43 yards on 7 attempts. So he can move. Former baseball player. He's a good athlete, a better athlete than people think. But Brock and Gunnar can both run as well. So all 3 of these guys have the ability to pick up 5 yards on a key 3rd and 4 if they need to. I think Gunnar's probably the fastest. But Brock can move too. I've seen Brock outrun guys. Carson Beck is someone who can make plays with his feet and escape and pick up a key 1st down. I don't think he's running by anyone, but at the end of the day, they've got 3 really, really talented quarterbacks. And I think at some point, one of them might have to leave. Who knows? Maybe Brock sticks around and 24 is his year. If Carson Beck has this final season and has a breakout season, goes on to the NFL, this time next year, then it's a Brock and Gunner showdown. I think, Georgia can always go into the portal and grab a guy, but they've got a very talented room, and it's full of guys who are ready to play, have been patient. Carson's been here 3 years, riding the bench, waiting for his turn, and it seems like his time is now. I think his time is now, and I expect him, again, to have a big 2023 season. This will be Brock's third year. He was here 21 last year. This is his third season. Usually, if you're not playing within the first 3 years, you're looking elsewhere. Carson was patient, and it looks like it's going to pay off. Is Brock Vandergriff going to be patient and then finally get his chance in his fourth year? If that's the case, then the same is going to be said for Gunner Stockton, who was here last year. Don't think he's going to win the quarterback job this year as a sophomore. If he doesn't win it next year, then he's looking at getting his only opportunity in his fourth year. So that's what happens when you stack elite quarterback after elite quarterback after elite quarterback in consecutive recruiting classes. Guys are going to have to sit and be patient, or they're going to have to go somewhere else and play. So I think I think Carson Beck had already thought about those options. I think it's run through his head. He's decided to stay, and he is, it might work out in a big way for him being the starting quarterback at Georgia. If he has a monster year, he could be one of the top quarterbacks selected in the 24 NFL draft with a big 23 season. Brock Vandergriff, if he stays patient, his time will eventually come, but it would be, again, in his fourth year. But at that point, you're taking a very, very talented a five-star quarterback, let him learn for 3 years, and then his fourth year, he's starting. It's not like you're throwing an 18, 19-year-old kid in there. I expect excellent quarterback play from Georgia moving forward, because these guys are not coming in and having to play early. They're sitting back. They're learning from guys like Todd Monken, who's one of the best play caller, I would say, in college football right now. Todd Hartley, who's been around the game for a long time. They did learn from Buster Faulkner, a guy who works closely with the offensive assistant, analyst, whatever you wanted to call him. He's now at Georgia Tech. So, these quarterbacks that have come through, they know what they're doing, and they're being developed. And I think Carson Beck is going, it's his job to lose. I think Kirby's not going to say that. Kirby's going to say, whoever practices the best wins the job. And he's had to deal with some quarterback, back and forth controversies, quarterback competitions is probably the best word to say it, in the past. So it's been interesting, because ever since Aaron Murray, we've had, there was a year where it was new quarterback, like 4 years in a row. I think it was Aaron Murray 13, Hudson Mason 14, Grayson Lambert 15, Jacob Eason 16, Jake Fromm 17. So you had quite a few years there where it was a different quarterback every year. Obviously, Jake Fromm 17, 18, 19. In 20, it was DeJuan Mathis to start the year, then Stetson Bennett, then JT Daniels to start 21. It was JT Daniels that turned into Stetson Bennett. And then last year it was Stetson Bennett's, team throughout, the year. And we saw how beneficial that was to him. So another year, another kind of quarterback battle going on in Athens. If you want to say that, is there really going to be a battle, or has Carson not 100% wrapped up the starting job, but how far along is he over Brock Vandergriff? I think it's more of a considerable amount than people think. So I think it's his job to lose. I think the staff, behind closed doors, deep down, they are excited about the Carson Beck era if he just continues to work hard and develop. And when he sees that the job is there for him to take, it's in his grasp, we'll see how good he gets, how much better he gets this offseason, when he has to go out and 100% earn the job and then have the job and take it from there. So the sky is the limit, I think, for Carson Beck heading into 23. Brock Vandergriff has a big decision. If he doesn't win the job in the spring, or feel like he can win the job in fall camp, does he stick around and maybe play in his fourth year, or does he go somewhere like Georgia Southern or somewhere small where he has a much better chance of starting this fall in his third year? Eventually, quarterbacks have to play. You can't play two of them, right? There are no two starters. If you're not playing, you're either learning or you're wasting your time. And at the end of the day, you have to play somewhere. In some cases, it might not be Georgia. The plan might not work out. You have to go somewhere else. But Carson Beck is patient, has been patient. It looks like it's going to pay off for him in 23. Is Brock Vandergriff going to be patient, wait this thing out until it's his turn? I think Gunnar Stockton said that he wants to graduate from Georgia. That's his only school. I don't think that's an exact quote, but he said something like that to myself and other reporters at one point during his recruitment, that he doesn't want to go anywhere else. He's a dog, so he's going to be there for a while. And I think it might be Gunnar Stockton's team at some point. He's very, very good. And it's going to take a lot for Carson Beck and Brock Vandergriff to really separate themselves from Gunnar Stockton, who I think has a very, very bright future in Athens. So what do you think? Drop a comment in the section below. And again, thanks for watching the video. Pick up Double Dogs. I've got Dog Struction behind me. Pick up Double Dogs today. Story of Georgia's National Championship season 2022. Reserve it now. Thanks for watching these videos. We really appreciate it, and I will see you over on Dog Post.